more can I say?
Top Billin. All right, Top Billin, allow your boy to just opine to you. No film studies today. Talking about the Seattle Seahawks. Kind of still reeling from my man 1-900 Shotty getting dial-toned, getting shown the door. But then when you step back, remember I had the joke earlier in the season that even Brian Schottenheimer's own mom doesn't like him. So if you keep that in perspective, we knew that this was bound to happen eventually, right? So moving on past that, out of all the rumored offensive coordinator candidates, Pep Hamilton is definitely my favorite. Been a big fan of his since the Stanford days. A couple of reasons being is, first and foremost, he coached my man Andrew Luck, my favorite quarterback of this generation. Coached him twice, once at Stanford and here at the Indianapolis Colts. But moreover, I'm a huge fan of my people, African-American people, working on the offensive side of the ball. Most of us are relegated to defense. That's usually most of the big names throughout the African-American community or coaching communities, usually on the defensive side of the ball. Pep Hamilton, not only working on the offense, working with quarterbacks, right? So you could probably count on your hand the amount of African-Americans with extensive quarterback history, and he has that. Not only did he work with Andrew Luck, he worked with RG3 up in Cleveland. And also, obviously, if he were to get the job with the Seattle Seahawks, he'd be working with one Chef Russell, so working with the notable quarterbacks of the 2012 draft. So that would be pretty cool there. Philosophically, though, be honest with you, I like Pep Hamilton. He's a tried-and-true West Coast guy. I mean, I literally follow all his schemes, covered him at Michigan, doing Michigan stuff there, and, of course, watching all the Indianapolis stuff and pretty much wherever he's gone. He is very much like Brian Schottenheimer, so I don't see where he would be any type of cutting-edge guy, especially if you're talking about running the ball. I think he will do wonders, though, working with Chef Russell and the passing game, really getting that rhythm and timing portion going there. He would do good there. So if that's what you're looking for, which I thought Pete Carroll said he was looking for ways to run the ball a little bit more efficiently, I'm not so sure Pep Hamilton is the guy, but I think he could do a good job regardless. Seattle's just a great franchise anyway. They're going to have success, period, because of the personnel. But moving past that, if Pete Carroll did want to get a guy that could both marry the run game and probably allow him to, see things a little bit differently through the air, why not think about a guy like Eric Bieniemy? See if you can poach him from the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this is probably a little controversial, right? I think my man Eric Bieniemy, I know he should be a head coach by now, but it's looking like he may get shut out once again on the coaching carousel unless he gets that one lone job left with the Houston Texans. So we shall see. It could be a moot point after the season. However, if that does not happen, now people would say, why would he need to go away from the Kansas City Chiefs, who are undoubtedly going to have the very best offense in all of football for the foreseeable future? See, here's my reasoning with this, right? Sometimes you got to take a step backward to take two steps forward. Now, he wouldn't be taking a step backwards, in my opinion, going to the Seattle Seahawks because they have really good offensive personnel. But he could possibly take two steps forward just for the simple fact that he would get often under your man Andy Reid and his large shadow that he casts, right? Literally and figuratively. Andy Reid has one of the most brilliant offensive minds in all of football. There's no doubt to me that the Kansas City Chiefs will be successful on offense without any of these guys that they've had, right? I have questions about anyone who coaches under Andy Reid, especially calling themselves an offensive coordinator, because I know Andy Reid is calling the damn plays. You can't fool me. He can sit up there with the same exact menu and cards that Andy Reid has, but let's be real here. We've seen Andy Reid do this for 20 years now. How much input is he really going to have play calling? He may have input during the week, right? That's definitely, as an offensive coordinator, he's going to help install plays. He's going to work hand in hand with Andy Reid. But we know Andy Reid is to be one of the greatest quarterback coaches of all time, one of the greatest play callers of all time, one of the greatest offensive coordinators for all time. So how can you prove you're that good? Sometimes you just don't have to. We look at Matt Nagy and Doug Peterson. I had reservations about both of those guys, right? It worked out for Doug Peterson, definitely. Won a Super Bowl, but look at him now, unemployed. A lot of people try to give his success to Frank Reich a guy who has a ton of quarterback and play calling experience himself. So Matt Nagy, the same thing, right? Not looking too good with him on offense outside of the Kansas City Chiefs like it did when he was the offensive coordinator there as well. Going to a defensive program, Pete Carroll's program, and where he has, I can't say 100% of the offensive structure there, because we know Pete Carroll likes to meddle, right? He be meddling like those dudes up in Scooby-Doo, right? The people in the Mystery Machine and shit like that. He be all up in their business and stuff. But we will know that he will be calling the plays and he will be coordinating the offense for sure. That will be hard. That would eliminate any and every excuse they have, right? I see these dumbass excuses about why Eric Bieniemy is not a head coach, and to me it's poor at best, but that would eliminate all that to me, right? Even these people who coached under Pete Carroll as far as defensive coordinators, I have reservations about them too. Shit didn't work out for Gus Bradley. He doesn't look as dope away from Seattle as he did with Seattle. Same thing for Dan Quinn. His defenses in Atlanta sucked. They straight up suck, right? Running the same exact schemes as Seattle. So a guy like Robert Saleh, though, right, getting out of that organization and going to work for an offensive coach like Kyle Shanahan, it does not mean that he will be successful, but it does mean that he erased if he could do it himself. So these guys getting away from these programs where they coming up through the coaching ranks offensively or defensively and leaving and becoming a coordinator somewhere else under a head coach that has a different side of the ball as their mastermind, to me, it's worth its weight in gold. So what Bienemy would bring, obviously, he is a running backs coach. Remember, before Patrick Mahomes, the stuff that they were doing with Alex Smith was pure run-centric, and they still were very successful, right? Not as successful as now, because I think what they're doing now looks indefensible because of the personnel there, straight up. And the play calling is dope. Everything about it, the creativity, the personnel, is just structurally magnificent. But the run game before that, to me, was the truth. All the running backs that come through Kansas City end up being very good. Look at the Kareem Hunts and all these guys that they find. So I think he could do wonders, man. I know that he probably does not want to hear something like that. And like I said before, it could be a moot point. And next year he could probably end up getting a job during that coaching cycle. But to me, this would leave no doubt. So I want to know what some of you guys think about that, right? Like I said before, out of the more realistic things, Pep Hamilton would be my guy. Anthony Lynn, I have reservations about as well, just for the simple fact that he hadn't done it a lot, but he has done it, so he could possibly be my second or third. I would still go and look in the college ranks, have somebody doing some cool stuff from the college ranks if I'm Seattle, but Eric Bieniemy, that would be hard, and they could work out for both parties. So let me know what you think. For you guys who didn't just run and jump in the comment section like most Seattle fans do, what would you think about Eric Bieniemy and what he could bring and what it would do for his career, all right? But it's your boy Murf, the Underground King. Just a little opinion here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.